So I live in Terre Haute, Indiana, and while this is not an area that's known for really harsh winters necessarily, you can still have bad storms come through. This week we have a planned storm coming through that's going to be starting out with rain, possibly freezing rain, sleet, and then adding a bunch of snow on top of that. Now I moved here at the end of October this past year, and I actually moved from Florida and have lived most of my life in Florida up until now. And previously living in states with normal winters, I was not an adult or anything, so I didn't have to worry about this stuff. But now living with my wife in our own place, you know, these are the things I got to worry about. So that's why before the storm comes along, I went ahead and bought a propane heater and bought a couple 20-pound propane cans. And that's what we're going to be unboxing and looking at the setup of today with this Dyna-Glo portable propane heater. And I'm going to be figuring it out so I know what I need to do if I need to use it. So it's got a pretty lightweight, small design, and it has the option of these, the smaller propane cans fit in here, one on each side. But I'll be using this propane hose to hook up to a larger propane tank for obviously longer run time. So I'm going to go ahead and open the propane valve, and then the instructions say to depress the control knob to the pilot for the 1 pound propane cylinders for 30 seconds, for these up to 4 or 5 minutes probably for the propane to get all the way through. So we're gonna, so it says rotate between the two. So I am seeing a little bit of flame down there, wanting to spark. There we go. Okay, so the pilot is going now. Now let off and it's still going. Alright, so that didn't take 4 to 5 minutes obviously. So within a minute I had it running and going. So then I think we can just Yep, I hear the gas turn on in the back. This is on the lowest setting. And I'm already feeling the heat coming over top right here. Wow. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of how it works. There's a little bit of flame that sticks out the front there, but obviously you got the metal cage that keeps a safe distance from things touching it. So this is an 18,000 BTU heater and says it will heat up to 450 square feet. That's my main concern, is making sure that this is able to keep the house warm enough, well, for one, for our own comfort, but just keeping the pipes from freezing and causing other major problems. But what I plan on doing for maximizing the heat from this to be most effective in the house is I'll be closing off all the rooms that we don't essentially need to be heated up, and so that greatly reduces the amount of space that we still have to heat. But I believe it's still going to be more than 450 square foot. So as long as I can get this in the house without there being too much time after losing electric, and get the heat going to maintain the temperature in the house and not have to reheat the house back up, I think it will be okay. And hopefully for the little bit of time that we need heat while they're getting the power fixed, this will sustain it for long enough. Now I've already seen a video tip for these little heaters, and that is to put one of those wood stove fans on the top here, so that heat is getting blown out more instead of just rising right above it, because you can feel it. I mean, it is pretty intense heat right here, but out here there's not a whole lot. So it just immediately goes straight up. So that is one good thing that would be to have, is one of those fans to be blowing the heat more evenly out into the room. This hose did not come with that heater, so you have to buy that extra if you want to use the larger propane tank. And then it just hooks up to where the little 1 pound propane tanks do. It just screws right into there, into the one connection. Now obviously it is not recommended to have a full propane tank sitting inside your house with the heater. So this can be something you could think about for yourself if you go with a system like this. Any propane heater having a larger tank to stick outside the house, you have to have some way for that hose to come into the house. So for my application, this is a thought that I had. So I have some of these pieces of foam board that are 1.5 inches, and I have a sliding glass door that the opening for it is about 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do if we really do lose power is just take that 1.5 inch foam board and sit it inside the crevice in the sliding glass door, and have a little notch cut into the side with a little hole drilled through there, just enough for the hose to fit through, so I can keep air sealed out with that foam board, and maybe have to put some tape on the inside and still run that hose through so that the propane tank sits outside the house. I know it's a simple little video just showing you how the hookup of this specific heater is, but just kind of a example of maybe something you can think about to do for your own house and having an emergency heat source ready. So this would be the most important spot for putting any tape, and just cover up this whole crack here. And then if I actually have to use this, I will set the propane tank outside and see what height the hose comes to, and then drill a hole and put a line across so I can kind of wiggle the hose into that hole there, and then just put some other tape around that, and then that'll come in, and I'll have that set as far in as it can into here, and then it'll heat up more of the open area in here, hopefully enough to keep the pipes from freezing and keep us sort of comfortable. So some specific details for this heater, if you're interested in this specific one. With this 20-pound cylinder that I have, on the low setting, it's supposed to last up to 79 hours, which is really awesome because that's over 3 days of use. But if I leave this on high, it says it can run up to 25 hours, which is still awesome because it's a full day. And I do have a secondary propane tank in case I would need to switch to that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if it gave you something to think about for prepping for your own house, the buttons down there that help stuff out, and thanks for watching.